on your ejection there. We were just curious.
Well, whenever it was, 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, whatever it was, we had this crew, one of which is totally not prepared to umpire at this level, do something that is unconscionable at any level of professional baseball, and that is for an umpire to directly affect the outcome of a game. It's unconscionable for that to ever happen. It should be decided by the teams on the field. And we had a game in West Virginia. They were hot. We were not. They blew us out 2 games. But we had a game where we were 5-3, and we had runners at second and third with 2 out, and our cleanup hitter David Thompson at the plate, where a base hit could have tied up the ball game. And on a questionable 2-1 pitch that was called strike 2, anybody that's played the game would have understood the human part of it. There's a big difference between 3-1 and 2-2 when you're a hitter. And Thompson did not say a word to the umpire. He didn't even look at him, because I don't allow the players to make excuses. He stepped out of the box looking away just to deal with the frustration of the pitch call so that he could get ready for the next one. And at that moment, the umpire ordered him back in the box, and at the same time put his fist up and pointed. Thompson didn't even know what had happened. He put his fist up and pointed at Thompson, and I knew it was going to happen, because in the very first inning, Brandon Brozier, who doesn't wear gloves or use pine tar, Brozier swung and missed a pitch, and only because he's so strong did he hang on to the bat. The bat didn't go flying off, and in his follow-through, Brozier started to walk to our on-deck circle and asked for the pine tar, because his hands were, it was humid, and the home plate umpire ordered him back in the box. And Brozier, they didn't get in an argument, but there was exchange enough for me to come out to the dugout. And I said, what is the problem here? And he got all flustered, and he said, I didn't know that the bat came out of his hands. And I said, hey, the game is too fast for you. Just slow down. You know, you got to know that a hitter walking away to the on-deck circle, there's got to be a reason for it. I said, the bat could have flown out of his hands and hit somebody in the stands. He's going to get pine. He said, oh, I realize that now. So I mentioned that because in the incident that happened, when Thompson stepped out of the box, and I saw him point back in a panic mode, as though to show who was the boss, I wasn't even looking at Thompson anymore. I knew what was going to happen before it happened. I was already starting to walk up when he gave it this. And I came up and I just came unglued. I said, who do you think you are? I mean, you can't call a man out without a pitch being thrown. And of course, it was water under the bridge because it had happened. And we found out since that not only in the NYP League, but Billy Harner, our media guy, called minor league baseball, and statistically, there has never been occasion at any level of professional baseball of a hitter being called out without a pitch being thrown. It's never happened. And for it to affect the outcome of a game, the league president and the umpire of supervisors watched the tape, and I was told by Ben Hayes, the president, that the umpire was number 1, reprimanded, and number 2, that the umpire of supervisors said that in a game where the game was on the line, that there is no professional umpire that would call a hitter out under those circumstances. Although there was a rule passed to speed up the game, with a clock at AA and AAA at all levels, they are asking the hitter to keep 1 foot in the box. And if the hitter doesn't comply, the umpire can order him back into the box. And if the batter does not comply, the umpire is to issue him a warning. And if he doesn't respond to the warning, then they can call him out. There was no warning given, and as I said, to our understanding is that this has never been called in professional baseball, but it was called against us that day. And I specifically told the league president that I'm a person of principles, and that this particular umpire, if somebody was not competent enough to do the game, it's tough enough to beat the other team without having an umpire involved in the outcome of the game, directly involved in the outcome. So I said, I do not want him to officiate another game that the Brooklyn is involved in. And 5 weeks later, all of a sudden it happens tonight. So I don't know what happened. I'm not the one that assigns, especially coming off 2 off days. It would have been so simple to just send a different crew here. Okay, but even at that, I was willing to play the game. But when I went up there, and the umpire reached for the home plate umpire reached for my lineup card, I said, "I'm not giving it to you yet." And he goes, "What do you mean?" And I turned to the base umpire and I said, "You've lost the respect of our team on the last time." And he goes, "I don't know what you're talking about." Well, of course he knew what I was talking about. And I said, "Before I give my lineup card, I want to know how many outs that my team is getting tonight. Whether it's going to be the league mandated rules of 27 or if it's going to be 26, because I have to tell these guys something because they're wondering the same thing that I am." And at that point he says, "I wouldn't go there." And I said, "Well, we are going there because I'm not leaving here. It's tough enough for us to beat the other team without knowing what the rules are that we're going to be playing." And I said, "I'm standing here until I know how many outs that we're entitled to," and at that point he threw me out. And after taking a month to get my voice back, I wasn't ready to go through the whole thing. I just turned around and gave the cards. I didn't swear.
Yeah.
I didn't demean anybody, but I was entitled and demanded to know how many outs we were going to get, because the last time that we had this crew, we only got 26. And that's on tape, televised, and verified by the supervisor of umpires and the league president, that we got 26 outs in a 27-out game. And all I know is that's tantamount to an NBA basketball game with a team down by 2 points and a minute left to go, and the team losing has the ball, and the referee takes the ball and says, "You know what, we're done." That's basically what happened.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that we would have won the game, but we had an opportunity with our cleanup hitter to tie up the ball game. We'll never know what would have happened because a pitch wasn't thrown.
Yeah.
So that's exactly where we're at.
But still, the guys responded well tonight for after.
I watched the game on TV.
Yeah.
I thought it was, I know your first question is going to be the same as mine was to Dave LaRoche, with Adamo having retired 14 in a row or whatever it was, and
right.
only 60 pitches. And I was surprised when we made a pitching change, but his groin tightened up again in the 5th inning. But he wanted to pitch and retired him in order, and wanted to pitch in the 6th, and they wrapped it. But it was just a point of Dave wasn't certain that is it something that he's going to have whether he pitches or not, and we let him go, or it could get worse. So obviously Dave did the right thing and made the call that after 6 he pulled him, and it was nice to see Sigmund and boy, Conlon looked terrific on TV.
Yes.
But Sigmund, Conlon, and Valdez close it out, and obviously a much needed win for us after the break. So once again, as all season long, our pitching was terrific. It was nice right out of the gate that Sienna got a big 2-run scoring hit. The disappointing thing, watching it on TV, kind of being out of the fishbowl, coming off 17 strikeouts on Sunday, would be the 13 more times we struck out tonight. And it just seems like we take a lot of fastballs early in the count and get ourselves on the defensive where we're forced to to chase breaking balls. And we've obviously got to do a better job throughout the lineup of making more contact. I mean, the more times you put the ball in play, at least you're putting pressure on the defense, because we're just giving up too many outs. We've only got tonight, we got our 27 outs or 24, but we gave 13 of them away to the strikeout. Nothing good can happen when we're not making contact.
How encouraging do you think it was for the whole pitching staff to see Tyler have the start that he had today after the groin injury? I know he's progressing, but how encouraging do you think it was for the?
Well, his last one was good too. I mean, this is his 2nd start coming off the groin problem. It's just it's unfortunate that that it continues to linger, as groin things can do, especially when you're a pitcher or a first baseman where you're striding a lot. I mean, you're constantly stretching out that groin muscle, so it's probably not going to be till the winter time when it really has a chance to heal. and we'll just have to check with him and Yosh as we go day by day here to see. Monday would be his next start. Whether you know, we certainly hope that it's something he'll be able to pitch with, because our troops are dwindling. You know, pitching wise, over the 2-day break, you guys are unaware that Blackham, who we thought was getting close, his hip has gotten progressively worse, and now it's going to involve an MRI and X-rays. So Blackham is done for the year, when we were hoping to maybe get him back towards the end. And then Yosh informed us today that Ty Williams, who missed the first 6 weeks with an elbow problem, and then we've only got him a couple appearances, 3 I believe. Now he's having tightness in the shoulder. So with 20 games left, Williams is gone and Blackham's gone, and we really can't afford to lose Badamo. so hopefully he'll be out there on Monday.
Also, a big point, you usually bring up the walks, the fact that he didn't walk any, and there was only 1 walk given out by the staff the entire night.
Yeah, but that's indicative of our pitching. Our pitching has been terrific from day one, so it continues to be. And fortunately tonight, 3 wasn't. You know, I kept watching on TV, hoping we would add on, do something, and the lack of contact, it didn't happen. But you know, the 3 was enough, and the pitching was great tonight. It was a fun game to watch on TV here.
No, it was.
I'm glad they got my TV working. That's the first time I've ever heard you, Stu.
How did I do?
So it was good. I mean, I enjoyed. It was different being out of the fishbowl and watching it from a fan standpoint, you know. And I liked the way that, well, Dave and I work real good together. So the way he handled the pitching, I thought was. In fact, I went in and said, "Gosh, we think alike," you know, because I was glad to see. You just walked in, but Badamo's groin tightened up as early as the 5th, and they monitored it. And because he kept getting them 1, 2, 3, but you know, Dave wisely at the end of 6, with it wrapped and getting tighter, the wise thing was to keep it in check. And I was glad that Miss Sigmund, who was a little off the other day with his command, but is having a great season for us, came in and had a good 7th. I knew that Conlon would be in for the 8th, and then I was talking to Billy and Kevin in here and got a little distracted watching Conlon strike out the side, so I wasn't sure where they were in the lineup. But I was hoping in my mind that Dave would use Taylor to close if they had the righties coming up, but if it was the top of the lineup, turning the switch hitters around to the weaker side, and knowing the 3-hole hitter was a lefty, that they would use Valdez, and that's exactly what happened.
Paul Shaw was unavailable.
So no, Paul Shaw was available, but and he only threw 12 pitches last night. But you know, Valdez has 2 saves. We were hoping to get him another 1 or 2 along the way, and we've also Taylor's been so darn good at getting the holes to get him in the mix. But for the first time ever, he came up a little bit stiff tonight, which in Dave's mind took him out of the equation, because he always wants to pitch. So. You know, so it went real good. I mean, it was obviously a much needed win for us to you know,
coming off the break.
Yeah, you know, when you're on a winning streak, you hate for a break to come, and when you're on a losing streak, you pray for rain or something just to get the aura away. And you know, it was a happy clubhouse when the guys came in today. They were refreshed. They spent a couple days in Manhattan. Some of them went to Long Island, and they did their different things, and now they were eager to get back on the baseball field again. And so it's nice to get a win.
Are there going to be any more words tomorrow when you bring out the lineup card?
Well, we'll just play it by ear. We'll just see what happens tomorrow. I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead. I'm just disappointed that they're here. I have no problem with any of the umpires in the league, but the one. You know, and for somebody to make, you know, it's one thing to make a mistake, but it's unconscionable for a referee or an umpire to directly affect the outcome of a game. It's supposed to be the teams competing against each other, and there's nobody that could dispute the fact that this directly affected the outcome of a game. I never heard in 42 years of an out being called without a pitch being thrown. So I mean, it's unconscionable. And yet it happened. So, and here he is back again. So, it is what it is. We'll see. Tomorrow's a new day.
Yeah. I was just curious. I was looking at tonight's what do you call lineup that they give out to the fans, and they had Tucker's name in italics, like as if he was hurt or something like that.
Well, he's gone for the season.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Tucker's mother has been ill for quite some time, and it's family always comes first. So with the Mets' permission, Tyler left on the break to be with his family in Colorado. So, and we don't, he will not be back. I mean, he left in good graces, and he's doing what he should be doing. We will be getting. I was informed during the game tonight that we'll be getting Caraballo back at some point. 2 outfielders got hurt. They literally just needed a body there, and so between Caraballo, Rojas, Pedro Perez, I don't foresee that we'll be getting any help. It'll just give those guys more at bats with Tucker being gone.
But normally at the end of August, they usually send up some of the standout from Kingsport.
Well, okay. Well, I don't. If that's going to happen, I'm not aware of it.
Oh, okay.
So, and they're in a race too. I mean, if that happens,
yeah.
I never worry about who I don't have. Just focus
Right.
on who we do have, and those moves are out of my control. So.
Okay.